Hi, I'm Plushy Matt, and this is Plushy Matt Reviews Marc Brunet's Art School. This is term 1, week 5, and this is just a little series to document and share my growth whilst partaking in the course. So let's jump right in and have a look at what I've been up to over week 5. So we start off with the visual communication exercises, just kind of observing things around me, figuring out things that I kind of don't understand and I want to understand more. And then from that, I've kind of been turning those into drawings. If you've been watching my other ones, you've kind of seen me do quite a few different drawings of things that I wouldn't normally draw. Um, I thought I'd start off with belts, kind of like, if I ever want to work on like a Final Fantasy game, belts is a huge thing they seem to have in their designs, and it's not something I've ever really considered and thought about. So I had a bit of fun drawing some belts. Uh, then was looking at some stuff. Artists and tentacles, man. Never really drawn anything like that before, and I found jellyfish really interesting, so I drew some of them as well. And I really found it fascinating how like they kind of moved like ribbons. The is it tendrils? I don't know. Then cakes, which really wasn't something to draw whilst being hungry, but really enjoyed messing around with that, kind of making something a little bit. Yeah, not really something I've ever considered before, looking at the shapes and forms of food. And then finally, for visual communication, I drew some birds, and a derpy looking bird to start with. And yeah, just thought, never really draw birds, thought it'd be something kind of interesting. And it turned out quite a fun little exercise. So that moves us on to the next studies that I did this week, which would be our perspective studies. Starting off, I did this 1 point perspective exercise where I kind of just chucked 1 point in, a little vanishing point, and messed around trying to draw shapes, all going to that same vanishing point all across the page, trying to keep them interesting. I didn't find this one quite as enjoyable as the next one, which was a 2 point perspective study. I did quite a few different things. A lot of these was drawing stuff from my imagination, and then you can kind of see where I went, oh, actually, maybe I should use references if I'm studying something. And you can see kind of like the quality and detail improving from that. And then another 2 point perspective study, this time only using references, which I think came out a lot better than just kind of trying to draw stuff from imagination. And I realized that if I'm trying to improve, I need to draw stuff from reference, not imagination. So yeah, was really pleased with these. And then that moves us on to the daily figure drawing exercises. So we started off with 30 seconds. These are nice, loose, warming up for the day. And you can kind of see most of the time they end up just as a skeleton. This one wasn't 30 seconds. Yeah, I even wrote it on there. But yeah, there was lots of just kind of, it looks kind of skeletons, just trying to capture a feel of what was going on. And as you see, most of them don't really end up being finished. And then again, this was my second lot of 30-second ones. Again, it's either unfinished or kind of a skeleton, as I'm trying to get in that sort of gesture of what was going on in the piece. And then finally, this 30 seconds collection, where I feel like everything was starting to click into place a lot more on this one here. And I think that they actually started to look quite nice, quite in proportion. Next up, we moved on to the 60-second gesture drawings. Starting off with these, as you see, they're kind of a little bit boxier, a lot more finished. And we're kind of moving away from skeletons onto kind of like a basic cylindrical limbs for the skeletons. And here's another one. I really enjoy these exercises. I think they're kind of a fun little way to warm up, and you kind of don't get too precious over things. You don't overthink anything. You kind of don't have the time. And it was a lot of fun to kind of see what I could get in. I kept kind of challenging myself to kind of like get the head and the hair and stuff in so that it looked like a completed person rather than just a skeleton. Some of them I tried to chuck a bit of shading in as well if I thought the pose was really interesting. I'll make sure to put a link for the website I used for all of these gesture drawings as well, because I think it's a fun little tool to use. And then finally the 2-minute ones. These were surprisingly surprising how much time 2 minutes is when you're kind of like used to the 30 seconds and 60 seconds. And these really started to take shape, and I was really proud of what kind of came out of these. I think this is like the first time that I noticeably kind of sat back looking at these as I was putting this together to make this video. I kind of really sat back and looked at this and went, oh, I actually feel like I'm making progress. Like these look like this, that I am making progress. Yeah, I was really pleased how a lot of these came out. I felt that they were proportionate. I felt that they were, yeah, I felt that they were good, you know. That feels weird to say, but I feel like my work looked good. And that's the whole point of this series, is to kind of document my growth and kind of remind myself that progress is being made. And finally, for this week, we've got studying, copying characters from professional artists, shows, or games. And again, I chose some artists that I really like. So we're going to start off with this one by Blushy and Spicy. I believe they're two artists that work together. Yeah, just that they draw such lively, fun pin-ups. And it's kind of like a direction, something I'd kind of, if I could take like one thing from their artwork, it would be kind of like these big, happy, expressive faces. Yeah, I think if I was to be critical, like super critical, I don't really think I've captured that well. I think there's positive elements. I feel myself being hard on myself. That's kind of why I'm being reluctant. But like, I think there's things I've done well, and I think there's certainly things that I can improve on in this. But it was definitely a fun exercise, and I think I kind of got the basics down fair. The next artist is Minko Draws. Again, there's a link on the image. This pinup of Wednesday I thought was super fun. I've always found Minko to be like a deceptively simple looking art style. I often look at it and I kind of go, "Oh, I could probably do that," and then I like remind myself that actually right now I can't. I had a lot of fun during this though, trying to capture their take on Wednesday. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to work on that one, and I think of the two art studies I've just shown, I think this one of Minko's artwork came out a lot better. I think it just feels like I've kind of captured the energy a bit more, whereas I think the Blushy Spicy one, I hadn't quite got the energy down. But anyway, that is it for this week's. Thank you so much for checking it out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.